And when we whoop enough ass, everybody gonna get in line and do right. All right, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom. Welcome, 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 everyone. We are live with our program today. And we want to welcome Sister Nicole into the house. She's here early. All right. So our topic today that we're talking about is beyond belief, the dangers of misguided spirituality. We're going to look at spirituality. We're going to look at the witchcraft. We're going to look at these things, voodoo, and come up with how did it start, why did it start, and what is the power.
Now you done froze up, Sister Gal.
Oh, I see. All righty.
Hey, you pop in there.
I hope everybody's ready for today's show. Go ahead and mute yourself, Isaiah. I hope everybody is ready for today's show. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be one. But thank you for everybody that's here.
It may be some things you ain't never heard. Maybe some things you've heard before. But just hang on in there. You may learn something new today. You know, sometimes we go through stuff, and just because you've never gone through it does not mean that it does not exist.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I think I'm hoping he knows that he's frozen. You are frozen.
Yeah, I think he gotta go out and come back.
Okay, I'll just text him, let him know. Yeah, he come. Okay, so he'll be coming back in. But yeah, just because we have to understand that sometimes it's time to learn something new. It's time to go to different levels. Sometimes you'll be exposed to some new stuff that you've never heard. And just keep your mind open. That's what it's all about. It's about learning new stuff. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. And it's not going to hurt anybody, but maybe this is your time to learn something new. And there he is. Welcome back, bro.
All right. So I hope it's be one of those kind of programs today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, we don't need that.
All right. That's okay.
You know, this program we're not going to go as far in depth as I originally was going to go because it just takes up too much time. But we're going to definitely deal with enough, and then we're probably going to wind up, or I'm going to probably wind up doing a series on the topic because there's a lot of things that we have to get familiar with because some things we just don't know. And because you don't know, it doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means you haven't learned anything about it.
Exactly.
Right?
You've not been exposed to it.
We have to remember that as well. But today is going to be a great program as always. And I want to thank Brother Donald for coming to the program. Assalamu alaikum, walaikum salam, big bro. We're glad you're here. We got Mayat in the house. Peace and blessings, Queen. We are glad you're here.
Yes.
All right. And again, we got Sister Nicole Smith who's also here. So before we get into the title of the program, before we get into the topic, Brother Isaiah wrote President Trump a letter. And he wrote it he posted it on X. And I'm of the persuasion that he needs to type it up and send it to the White House so that there's no excuse why Trump couldn't read it. And also put it on his social media truth, whatever it is. It needs to be posted. So we're going to go ahead and let Brother Isaiah get into his letter that he wrote to President Trump. Brother Isaiah.
All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay. Yeah, to give you a background, it really unnerved me when I heard on the news that Trump will, not if, not possible, but will give the mother of all bombs, which is like, in one of those bombs, it's like 12,000 tons of TNT. That's like 3 to 5 nuclear bombs that hit Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Devastating, destructive, and very telling to the very nature of these beasts we call white folks, right? And so when I heard that, I like, man, you got to be kidding me. Please tell me you're kidding. And then, I got further confirmation about that, and seeing Netanyahu sitting there grinning and skinning and couldn't wait to get this bomb because the man is a psychopath. You feel me? And the Palestinians are Semitic. And to do so would be anti-Semitic because the original people of the Levantine area or the Levant area were all black people like me and you. These people that we see today, the white-skinned Arabs and white-skinned Jews, come from, like we've always said on the show, come from the Dravidian and albino motherfuckers. They just got here some 4,000 years ago. They ain't got a goddamn thing to say or to do or to make any claim to any civilization. You got to know history, because when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. Okay, so with that being said, I wrote the letter to President Trump, letting him know, and this was from a previous one as well, that your job is to bring about peace and security upon the world, being the leader of the free world, and not being some psychopathic president who thinks the whole world got to kiss your ass because you're the president. It doesn't happen that way. So this is what I wrote to President Trump. It has come to my attention that you are planning to devastate the Gaza Strip, where the real Semites live, and known as the Palestinians, with the Moab bomb. It is my hope that you reconsider this foolishness and to do the right thing and make Palestine a one-state solution that it deserves. It is apparent that you are either delusional, stupid, or a psychopath to allow the indiscriminate killing to continue under the banner of a fake state of Israel that never received the status of a state to exist by the UN Security Council. That these fake Jews like Netanyahu don't deserve their homeland, and when in fact they are not real Jews. Mr. President, it is my prediction and warning to you that to do anything else to the real children of Israel will mean the destruction of your home country, of our home country, of the United States of America. I am warning you, Mr. President, and advising you not to do this, or you will face a devastating disaster. Hold on. I gotta scroll it down. I am warning you, Mr. President, and advise you not to do this, and you will face a devastating disaster along the New Madrid fault, which is what it should be, that will cripple America as we know her. Along the Madrid Fault, or the New Madrid Fault, are nuclear power plants that will make that area uninhabitable for centuries and changing the geography of America forever, while killing tens of millions at the least. Leave Palestine in peace and allow the Palestinians to have their rightful homeland as a one-state solution. Mr. President, I have the utmost respect for the presidency of the United States of America, and that I know If anyone who occupies that office must be a man or woman of immense integrity, honesty, forthrightfulness, wise understanding, and knowledge. The pure arrogance and false pride of your heart in being so-called white has led you white people down the road of your own destruction, despite the warning that will lead you people to serve as a footstool to the real children of Israel, who are black people of the world. The sins of your heart and the actions of your ancestors will forever be a curse upon your children for all of eternity, and for the sins of the parents are always visited or cast upon the offspring. Mr. President, prepare for your own destruction and the total destruction of your future generation of you white people. For the stench of your pride has reached the nostrils of heaven, and you people shall reap the whirlwind. The handwriting is on the wall. And as it is said, so shall it be, and as it is written, so it is. And I put my number and everything on it. But in the previous one, I made it very perfectly clear that white people have been civilized by black folk, us, our ancestors, 3 times. We had to set the world back right. And the only man, the only people, the only woman that can do that are black people. We civilized these devils in human skin in Egypt, Greece and Rome, and now coming out of Spain after ruling it. Black people ruled it for 800 years to this very day. And these people cannot and will never, ever be civilized. I just read and heard on YouTube about the red heifers and the fact that the Aksamat will come down. These motherfuckers are not stopping. They actually believe in this Messiah of which they are not. I remember a long time ago, Brother Marie and Sister Cassie, that the most eminent Ashkenazic Jew, Eli Wiesel, hold on. Eli Wiesel, man, I hate that. hold on. Oh, yeah, we party every day here. So I just read that they actually believe that the Messiah is coming once they do all of what they're going to do. I'm going to send that video to you guys as well. But the most important thing that I wanted to address to Trump is that without black folk, the world cannot be and would not be and will never be. Because these people, each and every time they take over from what we left off, they fuck it up. They are nothing but a bunch of fuck up. And as soon as we can see that, it's over. These people have put a spell on us, the spell of our own ignorance, of our own ancestors, and of our own history. It's very important to know that. And once you see it, it's game over, because these people, just like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, all you've got to do is just pull it back, just bitch slap the shit out of them, politically, economically, spiritually, and physically. And now, Sister Cass and I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it too, Brother Marie, is that now all of Africa is on the verge of coming together. You see that? That's it. United we stand and take over and beat their motherfucking ass, or divided we fall and stay in the same shithole. That's the curse and that's the blessing. Which one do we want? We want the blessing of unity and falling into the arms of our ancestors once more and forever. Because as soon as we can stop looking away and looking towards other places, thinking that the grass is greener when our grass is the most greenest motherfucker going. There's nothing like being black. I love being black. First, second, third, and motherfucking last. And my final comment, you know what that is, brother. That's what they got. Fuck all white folks.
All right. Thank you, dear brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to also welcome Brother Roy to the program. Peace and blessings, big bro. We're glad you're here. So that was Brother Isaiah's letter that he sent out. He posted on X to President Trump about what he's doing in the Middle East. But you talked about the Moab bomb, but I believe it was Brother Donald who said that he already used the bomb in his first presidency. I don't remember that, but Brother Donald, if you can drop in the chat some information about that, because I didn't know that he did that. That kind of slipped over my head. Were you aware of that, Brother Isaiah?
For what now?
That Trump used that bomb in his first round as presidency?
No, I never heard of that one. Somebody, no, yeah, I know somebody did. I don't know if it was Trump or if it was Obama, but it might have been. I just don't, I do remember the bomb being dropped. I do know that. So it's not a joke of a bomb. That motherfucker would tear a hole in Jesus' ass. Shit. You know what I mean? So we can't be playing with this fire, because Revelations and the biblical prophecy and what that biblical people or who those biblical people are is us. And the reason why we are where we are, I mean, we can ask for reparation for being black, reparation for being African American, but the bottom line of it is that these motherfucking stealers, killers, and white folks are using our name and our title. That's it. And the reason why they are on top is because they are living off the fat of the land of our ancestors in our name. They're not Jews, they're not Hebrew, they're not Israelite. And this is where this is where the wheel hit the road, or something, however you said. That the geopolitical and economic and historical narrative will change overnight once we began to affirm and confirm and to believe in and know that we are those people that France and Europe and America will have they got to pay. Will have to pay because we are those people, and that is not very hard to prove. Hell, look at Putin. We already know through those documents that he got says who those people are, and we've been at the crossroads of devastation and anti-Semitic remarks and actions of our own country in the United States and around the globe. So now, once we do that, and we present that argument to the world court, to whomever else it may be, the game is over. Because they're going to have to admit the fact that they're not who they say they are. And I'll throw it back at you.
All right. Thank you, brother. So, yeah, thank you, Brother Donald. It did. Trump used the bomb in 2017 in Afghanistan, fighting against ISIS. Now, this bomb is the most powerful bomb that America has that is non-nuclear. So the next step beyond that bomb would be a nuclear weapon. And so he dropped that in 2017 in Afghanistan when they were fighting ISIS. And from reading what it says, ISIS was whooping their behind, so they had to go and get this bomb and drop this bomb on ISIS. That is one thing about America, that they damn sure will drop a bomb on your ass. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Some motherfuckers will drop a bomb on your ass. Anything that they got to do is going to be done. So we have to always remember that. And, people like to say that there's never been a bomb dropped on American soil, but that's not true.
Oh, that's not true.
We were bombed. They bombed black folks down in, I think the first one was in
Rosewood, wasn't it?
No, before that it was I want to say either North Carolina or South Carolina, where Raleigh is in North Carolina, right?
I think so, yeah.
It was in North Carolina. It was in North Carolina where they first did it. They dropped the bomb, and then they also dropped the bomb in Tulsa. They dropped the bomb in Philadelphia. So they have dropped bombs on Black people on at least 3 different occasions, probably more than those 3. But they damn sure will drop a bomb. Once they know that they can't beat you straight up, then they go on to drop a bomb. You can put that on the records.
But don't forget about Philadelphia.
Yeah, move happened in Philly, and they dropped the bomb on the move people here and burned down the whole neighborhood. And unfortunately, at that time, there was a Black mayor, Wilson Good, who got on TV and said, yeah, I told him to do it, and I'll tell him to do it again. No good, nigga. But, that's why people like that have to be executed. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got to go. He was proud about that damn dropping that bomb and those people and children being killed that way. He didn't have a damn problem with it. He didn't have a problem with it at all. But that, for me as a child, being here in Philly, looking at it on the news, that's when it came to my understanding that these people don't give a shit about us. Because I saw the children trying to come out the house and the police shooting at the children and children having to run back in the house. I knew right then that these people don't care about us. They don't care about us. I want to welcome Earthman to the program. Peace and blessings, Earthman. We're glad you're here. Maya says that they are experts at setting fires as well. They definitely are. They definitely are. So into our topic today, because last week when we were on, we got into a different topic, which is this topic. And we wound up doing, we went over about an hour and some minutes because it's a big topic. But we were talking about spirituality, we were talking about voodoo, and we were talking about witchcraft. And it was my thinking, understanding that witchcraft is not real, that there's no such thing as magic. Magic is not real. I talked about where they had the Salem witchcraft trials here in America, where they hung so-called witches. They've done that over in Europe as well, where they burnt so-called witches. And one of the points that I was making was, if they were a witch and they had magical powers, they should have been able to get away from being hung. They should have been able to get away from being burnt at the stake. But because they couldn't get away, they had supposedly powers, and people who didn't have powers were able to kill them. Then evidently their powers wasn't working. We also talked about voodoo, because over in Nigeria, voodoo is believed. In other different parts of Africa and in Haiti, voodoo is believed. And when I was talking to an African from Nigeria, and I had asked him about voodoo, and he was like, oh yeah, that stuff worked. I said, well, if it worked, well, why y'all didn't use it on white folks when they came there? If it worked so much, why y'all didn't do it on them? And he was like, I think it only works on Black people. Well, goddamn. If your voodoo only work on Black people, we don't need that shit, because it's useless against the enemy. And so, understanding that, and so I went and was doing some research to where did this thought of magic, there's real magic, where did this thought come from? And from my researching, it came from points where they could not explain why it was raining. They couldn't explain the thunder in the air. They couldn't explain the lightning. They couldn't explain a lot of things. So out of their ignorance, they called it magic. Out of their ignorance, they called it magic. So you had a time period where things were not able to be explained, and they used magic, that catch term, as a reasoning why this happened or that happened. And so understanding that when science came and they began to learn more about science, then this thought of this was magic, this magically happened, began to go away, because now you're dealing in science. From the magic time, then you went into alchemy. And alchemy is where you have them trying to change different metals and trying to come up with, elixirs to heal this and elixirs to heal that, and the fountain of youth. Now, in their coming up with these things, this is how we come across chemistry. So they wasn't able to figure out how to turn regular metal into gold. They weren't able to figure out how to come up with the elixir that, is the elixir of life, that you'll never die. But they came up with methods to establish chemistry, where now we have these things, but we have these things based upon what the alchemists were able to learn. So their thing wasn't a total failure. They were able to produce us farther down the line dealing with chemistry. We also talked about, and I asked a question to Sister Cassie about, in the spiritual realm, can we go up and kill somebody in the spiritual realm and they will die in the physical realm? That was my question. Can we do that? Because if that is possible, teach me how to do it, and I'll end racism just that quickly. Because I'll go up into the spiritual realm and I'll be the #1 killer. And they will drop dead in the physical realm, and we ain't got to worry about racism no more, because there won't be no racists around. And so we couldn't come up with how that was done or could be done. So this is where we are now. So, Sister Cassie, is there anything you would like to add or to go into more to give people, because I just gave a very brief level understanding or update of where we were. I didn't go digging in deep. So if you would like to expound, please do.
Well, you did ask a question, and I kind of been doing a little research myself. And you asked if we could kill people. Mm-hmm. And the answer is yes, depending on if you're willing to do what they do. Because we do know of individuals who cause curses to come on people, meaning diseases. We do know of generational curses. We do know that there is a high price to pay if you're willing to sell your soul. There's a high price to pay as far as our musicians who are, top dollar, who are selling their souls. There's a high price. You're just not gonna go and become a witch or a priestess or and do what they do for free. No, there's a high price. So yeah, you can do it, but you're gonna have to do it on their terms. And like I said, that means you're selling your soul to be just like them. I have no desire to go and kill a whole bunch of people. I don't, you come in my house, that's different. But for me to just go in a spirit realm and just kill up a lot of people, that means I've sold my soul. I don't have any desire to do that. There is a such thing as generational curses. And a lot of people don't understand. They just call it, well, I hear people saying, well, my grandpa, he died of high blood pressure. He died of heart attack. He died of, this, that, and the other. And you'll hear where the dad has died of the same thing. Then you'll see you'll see that curse in all of the generations. And we've just been used to it happening. So we just say, oh, it's a generational curse, or we'll say, oh, it's from their diets. It's not always your diet. And people, if we're not understanding and recognizing how to bring those two together, then yes, we won't say, oh, it's witchcraft. We'll say, oh, it's their diet. And sometimes you'll see a curse on a family where everybody's broke. You'll see everybody a generation of brokenness. The daddy was broke, the mama was broke, the grandma, the great, and it goes all the way back. Or we'll see sickness in their family. And people just related to, Auntie Bobby was, Uncle Bobby or whoever was sick all the time. Okay, well, what happened? Well, what came before him? And people aren't putting two and two together. So when we get to the place where we're putting two and two together, then you'll understand what's really going on. So this is a topic, and a lot of people, a lot of Black folk, we know about this stuff, okay, because our families, ancestors have done it, and that's why you're seeing a lot of what's passing down from generation to generation, because a lot of times our grandparents have given up their children, and they've brought things down on the family, and you see it in the generations. And a lot of times you just don't know. You'll see a person going, taking 2 steps, and then they get knocked back 10 steps, and then that person's life just never comes together. And we don't understand that a lot of times that's because generationally your grandma or your great grandma was into witchcraft or into a whole lot of other stuff, and it just passed down on the family. And a lot of times you don't even understand it. A lot of times you don't even know what your great grandma did, because we don't know. We just see the results of it, and you'll see the results of it by sickness and disease in your family. So with that, I rest my mic.
All right, Brother Isaiah, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think what Norma said. Then how did allow alchemic ancestors to literally create the world itself, medicine, language, and all the sciences? And I refer that to how you say his name, Chickamboso, right? The creator of the microsonic energy device, the new car that you don't need no gas and none of that. He said he didn't go to school. He called upon his ancestors and God within to allow that entity to manifest the thing that he wanted to produce. And that is the difference between us and them. They're not like us. They can't do that. Because there's a special relationship between the Black universe and Black folks as a whole. We are the filtered down version of the Black universe in human form. And that is why we are so spiritually connected. We're not worried about, our ancestors weren't worried about money and cars and women and all of that. It was an internal system that allowed you to have everything you want. I am that I am is a magical word if you want to believe it or not, because whatever you say, you will become negative or positive. And when I look back at all of our accomplishments, and especially this most recent one with Chickamboso, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Chickamboso, Maxwell Chickamboso, whatever, you find now that Black folks are waking up. They're casting the spell off of them, the negative spells of nigger, jigaboo, jungle bunny, you ain't nothing but a monkey. But the reality is that this is what white folks are. And the fact that we are the most capable people in the world, the true geniuses of the world. And I showed a video of more pyramids and more Egyptian statues under the water with intricate writings on it that you cannot do with just a chisel. It reminded me of a book that I read in college. I wish I had it. That talk about lasers, phasers, and masers being used. Because right now, the civilization that we got is not the most advanced. we had the Aztecs and the Mayans and Atlantis, all of these things that happened before. And history is a thing that goes around in circles. What was is what is shall be again, and it just manifests itself in so many ways over the centuries and millennia that it defies logic. But when I look at two examples, when I look at spellbounding somebody, I'm going to let you determine what it is. I'm loving it. What is that?
McDonald's.
Yeah. Or have a blank and a smile.
Coke and a smile.
Yeah. So there you go. The more you repeat something, the more in depth it becomes in your mind and your psyche. And our ancestors understood that, and that's the reason why they wrote not only, drew not only on the walls, but also in the repetition of that. So we understood that. Believe me, when what I read about our ancestors going inside, because what is reflected inside is outside. What is reflected out in the universe is in us too. So when we have that knowledge of self versus knowledge of self and the fact that we are our ancestors, it's like a plugging, my computer into the wall. You don't want to let go once you get that energy going. And this is where the miracle happens. It doesn't happen on land. It doesn't happen in the air. It happens when all of your senses are gone. And now you have to, it's like being in the ocean and you go deep, 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 and it's just totally black. What do you depend on? Your instinct, your third sense, so to speak. And I see that happening more and more and more. And to be honest, Sister Cass and I were just talking about that before the show started, that Gaddafi put it all in motion. He said one day Africa will rise and it will be over. Now look at what happened. He cast that spell of positivity into the air. Now look at what is happening. You can't deny the greatness that is within you, black man, black woman. It cannot be denied. You can delay it. You can take your time about it. But I know for one thing, as our ancestors always said, there are three things you can't hide forever: the sun, the moon, and the truth. I'll throw it back at
All right. Thank you, Brother Isaiah. I want to go real quick to Norma X as a question for Sister Cassie. So I want to ask Sister Cassie one question. Can sin or curses explain everything that affects us or just some things? You on mute, Sister Cassie.
What you see today with dealing with Black people, because we are the chosen, and we've gone through a long time, okay? And what we've gone through is because of sin and curses. It's, for one, it's due to us being disobedient, okay? Because we're the chosen, whether you believe it or not. You know, some people can come to your house, some children come to your house, they can do whatever they want, right? But when it comes to your children, you're harder on them, okay? You're harder on your own because you've given them the direction. They know how to act, they know what to do. And when they don't do what you call them to do, then you have what you call punishments, right? Okay. So we have to understand where it all came from. So a lot of what you see today is due to sin because we didn't do Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to go there also. We're going to use it all. Deuteronomy 28, if you guys want to read it, it tells you about if you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you don't, 28 to 68 tells you that if you don't, this is what's going to happen. So if you want to read it, you can find out. but we have to understand how to put those two and two together. And a lot of people just, we've never thought about it. He said what you do, for instance, if you kill somebody, for instance, okay, that sin is coming to your house, whether you know it or not, okay? Depending on, okay, for instance, police officers, okay, they're doing a lot of killing, right? And society is saying, oh, okay, you're good. We're not going to hold you accountable. You are going to be held accountable because what you do, that sin comes back to you, not just to you, but to your children's children's children, to the third and fourth generation. That's biblical. Okay. A lot of people believe in the Bible. A lot of people don't. I've read it. I believe it. And it is what it is. A lot of people don't, and that's okay. But you still have that written in other places. It still means the same. It still means the same. So for instance, I'm trying to give as many examples as I can. The Masons, okay, fraternities, Greek fraternities, even joining that, you have to understand what you're bringing on your families. People don't understand that. Greek fraternities, that's read who you are giving your blood to, because sometimes that's a blood sacrifice. Understand who you sacrificing their blood to. Okay, if you read the what they say, why you're joining the Greek fraternities, read what it says. Read who you're giving your souls to. People don't understand that affects your body, also your lineage. The Masons, understand what the Masons are attached to. Some people say, oh, they're in the Bible and they're building. That's not the true meaning of what a Mason is, and people don't understand that. And we've had pastors. It's big time in the South. Pastors are Masons and pastors. You can't join together. You can't put the two and two together. You can't. You either gonna walk on one end or the other. You can't. Oil and fire don't mix. Okay. So people don't understand that, what you're doing also. So, those are just a couple of examples. And I rest my mic. Let's see. I'll say this. The more certainly you're cursed us messing with them. And guess what? You have to understand whose children they are. And a lot of times the curses that are attached to white women, people don't understand that. But there is something attached. Understanding whose children they are, you'll understand what's going on with that. You look at them, you kissing, and you're exchanging saliva and body fluids with them. You become in a contract with them. And that's a lot of people, period. That's why he tells you not to sleep around. But you have to understand what's connected to white women. It's a spiritual matter. These men kissing and they, you have to understand what's connected to that. And then you wonder why I can't get free, why I can't, be free of this person. Well, because there is something attached to that person. And a lot of times it's not even that person don't even know it. It could be a lineage. Could be a grandma's curse. It could be something, because a lot of children, sometimes if you are a witch or if you know any, they've committed their whole families. They've committed their children. You have to understand that. And you'll see it in the children, because you'll see a lot of sickness. You'll see a lot of, because like I said, there's a high price to pay. If you're going to be a witch, if you're going to, give up your children, you're going to see it in the family. You'll see a lot of sickness, a lot of poverty, a lot of lack, insufficiency, and debt. You're going to see that. And people aren't putting two and two together. They'll see this and say, man, so-and-so son, he always in jail. He always in trouble. He always blah, 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 blah. And you begin to see it, but we're not putting it together. So we don't even understand that that's what it is. So you walk in it, so there's a door connected to not only his life, but his lineage life, and you'll see it in the lineage. And then until that door is closed, until you understand how to seal those doors, you'll keep on walking in that thing for the next 15 generations and not even understand that it's from Bobby's son or Bobby's grandma who put something on the family, who committed her life to sin and to Satan. And that door has been opened. So she's committed the lineage to him. So until somebody waking up, somebody has been chosen in that family to break that curse will remain on that family until that person stands up and say, okay, it stops here. I see it. It stops right here. And from then on, you'll have blessings, okay? Because you've sealed the doors and you understand how. So I rest my mic.
Okay, thank you, Sister Cassie. So I'm going to deal with one of the comments Norma X said, and then I'll deal with some more issues. But it says, a revelation came to me a few days ago. Everything's religion. there is no real or fake religion. If Christianity is not real, how did it allow Europeans to enslave us? If metal matter is not real, then how did our Kemet ancestors to literally create a world itself, medicine, language, and all science? And this is the thing, because your belief system accounts for a lot of things. The key difference, because I said the same thing. I said the Black Christians and the white Christians, they read the same book. But the white Christians took that book and conquered the known world with it. And the Black folks with the same damn book can't even conquer their block. Why is that? Why are some successful with the book and others are not successful with the book? A lot of it has to do with how Black people deal with religion. Because we don't deal with religion for the most part to say, God empower us to go conquer and kill these people. We don't say that. But the enemy, that's what their prayer is. Help us to go kill our enemy. Help us to go do that. Help us to go see that. And once it's in your mind that God has backed you to go kill these folks, oh, you're going to go kill them with perfection. Because you believe that there's a God that's backing you in it. When I was in the military and we were out there and got into a few firefights, I seen people break down and don't even fire their damn weapon because they are so full of fear that training and everything is gone and they're down there crying, balled up crying. And when I saw that, when we got back, I said, never, I don't want nobody in my squad who doesn't believe in some type of religion. Because those who believe in some type of religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Jew, whatever it is, you believe in a higher power, and that belief in a higher power will cause you to get up and make some shit happen, that you're not going to crumble. You'll pick that weapon up and be bop, 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 right on back with it. Because I understood the quality of what faith can do from seeing that example right then and there. If we can remember when America invaded Iraq and they made the little white girl the super trooper and gave her parades and all this money and said she was a hero. And when she finally told the story, she was like, no, I wasn't a hero. I didn't even shoot my weapon. I was on the ground crying because I was scared. But the black girl, Shoshana Johnson, who did not get treated like a hero, who did not get no money and all these endorsements, she was shooting her weapon. She was fighting back. And America ignored her bravery and gave it to the damn cracker like the cracker did some shit when she did nothing but act like a coward. So when we're dealing with an understanding of what we believe, see, I don't believe in generational curses. I don't believe in them. Because the way I look at it, it's only ignorance that causes you to do dumb shit. It's because you don't know. You don't have the proper knowledge. It is the lack of knowledge that will make you do dumb shit. And then when you reap the benefits from that dumb shit, you be wondering, why did I do this? Why did I do that? And you see that it happens in family cycles. You see, because they ain't nobody learning. It ain't nobody teaching. They're doing the same thing I saw my mama do, or doing the same thing my cousin did, or you got somebody giving you bad information, and you're taking upon it, and you're acting upon it, and then you have environmental forces that's helping you make dumb decisions because you're born in the ghetto. This is all you're seeing, and it becomes a way you're thinking. No, so me personally, I don't believe in generational curses. And we got to take and understand when we're reading the Bible, whether it's King James, whether it's New Translation, Old Translation, that's not the original language. So you're taking something that you're reading and they say this is equal to that word. But we got to remember the Bible original language was not English. The Bible original language was not Spanish. It was not Hebrew. The Bible original language, the first language, was Aramaic. There are words in Aramaic that there's not in English. So when you're understanding of how they're trying to put it up, that's why in the Bible it tells you this has been revised, diligently compared to previous translations, and we're giving you the modern update meaning of the translation. So to understand that what you're reading today is not necessarily what was written in the original book. So we're reading something with a whole different meaning. And see, and the power of knowledge. In the scripture, even it says that my people die for the lack of knowledge, and preachers always quote that. But they don't quote what comes after it, where they say that God said, because you have rejected knowledge, then I will reject you. So that means you can't be stupid. We can't afford to be illiterate. We can't afford to be caught up in the swing of emotions. We have to be thinkers. We have to rise above emotion into the thinking of God. This is where we have to do, because we're dealing with an enemy that loves to kill, that loves for you to be a pacifist, for you not to get your hands dirty and let him do what he do. He loves that for you. But I want to show you this video in case we forget who we're dealing with. And we'll just get back up, because these people, they're churchgoers, go to church every Sunday, love the Lord, Jesus this, Jesus that. But in the moment of decision, what is done in that moment? And this goes to man, woman, and child. Because look here, I taught my children from babies. Somebody attacked the mosque, it's fight time. Y'all be put in a certain area. If they make it back to that area, you gotta fight. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You gotta fight. And this is something, because religion, look, this Christianity bullshit, it teaches you to be passive. It teaches you to obey your master, be a good slave. This is what it does to you. And it tells you, oh, once you accept Jesus and all your sins are forgiven. What? You mean to tell me these crackers can kill and do all the evil that they've done, and all that they gotta say is I accept Jesus and my sins are washed away? Oh, hell. That ain't no goddamn good religion at all. They gotta pay for what was done. But they want you to be in that, oh, we love everybody. God don't love everybody. And this is what you better understand. Well, let's look at the video. And we're
Hold on, let me say one thing before you show the video. You said Aramaic, Hebrew was the first language of the Bible. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, let me read something. It says the first human author, okay. Well, let's go a little bit past that. Okay, written down these words of an according with these words, the covenant was made with Israel. Okay.
Mhm.
And what language did Israel speak? Because they are the Shemitic people, was
Right.
called the Hebrew language. Also, asking questions as far as the Bible being the first Bible, the language, and what they're saying is Hebrew is one of the group of languages known as a Shemitic language, which was spoken throughout that part of the world as far as where the Shemitic people were. So I don't know where the Aramaic came from, but what we're reading is the first Bible was the Hebrew written Bible. And then you talked about all religions, I believe, is of Satan, because we have to understand where it came from. Sorry, you guys. Okay, hold on. Because of where it came from. All of the religions originally started from the Roman Catholic Church, as far as the Romans, and they created the Methodists, the Catholics. They created all of the religions, and it was done to confuse people. So we have to understand that. But I mean, we gonna believe what we believe, and it's okay. But you go ahead. I'm gonna rest my mic with that.
Can I say something about my? It's not going to take long, but I put those videos on your WhatsApp. But if you can play it, I mean, or at least put the link of the YouTube to it. Hold on. It's dealing with Macron's warning: is the black Israelite? You got to see that. I'm praying that you can play it. It's only like 28 minutes, but it's worth it. And then the other one, Ibrahim Traore broke the silence of the Hebrew Israelites, and we will serve the black Israelites. So I put those there for y'all.
All right. Thank you, Brother Isaiah. But Sister Cassie, no, Aramaic is what Jesus spoke. He may have also spoke Hebrew, but Aramaic is the language of Jesus. If you research Semitic languages, it will tell you Aramaic is a Semitic language. Aramaic is the language that Jesus spoke. Hebrew is not the first language. It is not the original language. It comes after Aramaic. But that is the actual fact, and you can Google it, and it definitely will come up. So I'm trying to catch. Sorry, I got behind talking and not able to get y'all comments up there, but I'm trying to hurry up and get them up there. So let's go to the video and let's look.
More cops came rushing the house, and I'm laying there and asking somebody to help my granddaughter. And he wouldn't even help her. They turned on the light and seen that she had been shot and carried out the house. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Why you do it? Why you do it? Please tell me why you come in my house like that. Tell me why you came in my house like that. You killed my grandbaby. You killed her and you try to blame me. You know I never touched you, Mr. Weekly. You know I never touched you. You know you wrong. You know you wrong. You wrong. You wrong. She was only 7 years old. She was only a baby, man. She was sleeping, and I told y'all, let me get my granddaughter, and y'all didn't even give me a chance. Why y'all do this to me? I get no sleep. I'm sick. I'm sick as hell. I get no sleep. The flashbacks, I wouldn't wish them on nobody in the world, not even you. I wouldn't wish this on no one in the world that have to watch their 7-year-old granddaughter get their brains blown. By the people that are supposed to protect and serve her. You the brain. I watched you first. Why you the brain? You the first one in. You the first one in. You the first one in.
Now, the police had came into that house and killed Ayanna Jones. She was a 7-year-old girl. And the family didn't get no justice, even to this day. I think they finally got the cop to trial, and he only did like 2 years, if that. This pain that we go through is real. And because they have taught us to turn the other cheek, and they taught us to love our enemies, we go through things like this. That's unacceptable. But it has become normalized. It has become, this is what they do. And our reaction has become to cry and get over it. But you'll never get over it. And you'll never have any justice. When you take the enemy's religion and you take it and make it part of your core of who you are, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be able to deal with the realities of life. Now, what we just saw is a reality of life. Now, during this time, Obama was president, and the head of the Justice Department, what's that nigga's name? I forget the black guy name who was head of the Justice Department. But he came in talking strong and limped out the damn office. He was in Detroit when a few days after this has happened. He was in Detroit a few days after the killing, as I was wound up in Detroit too for a conference. And that's where I learned about our sister and went over there to see the house. And, you know, they were doing it for the cameras because the A&E TV show was embedded with them. And so they had seen the person they was looking for earlier that day go back in and forth and out the house. But they didn't have all the equipment and they didn't have all the backup, and they wanted to make good TV. So they waited till nighttime where everybody in the house is asleep and then went in to get the individual. But the individual, the way that, I should have had a picture of it, but it's like a one house, but it was cut into an apartment. So they went into the wrong door because the person they were looking for was on the top floor apartment. They went in through the wrong door on that first floor apartment. And before they shot the little girl in the head, they threw a flashbang grenade on her. So at first, she was on fire. She was on fire. Then when they bust through the door, he pulled the gun and shot her in the head. This is reality. But as you heard the sister on the bench in the witness stand crying out, "Oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Mr. Whitley, why did you do this? Why did you do this?" and they walk right by him every day. They look at him every day and see that's the man that caused you the pain. But that man was safe. He was safe before the trial, after the trial, during the trial. He didn't worry about nobody coming up and touching him. He was safe. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay, let me ask you, even with that being said, do we not believe? And I'm not, it's not, for me, I'm not looking at it Christian, I'm looking at it generational wise, lineage wise. We have to understand that, and we may not even understand this, but I understand this because I'm hearing, people that have done things to Black people, their children suffer, suicide in the family. And prime example, I remember one time I went to the hospital. My husband was having an issue and he really thought he was having a heart attack. So of course we went to the hospital. We got there and the white nurse said, man, and I don't know how we got on this subject, but she said, man, my family must have really did something to Black people. She said, my brother murdered my mother. Then she said, my other brother, his daughter murdered somebody. I mean, he was just going down all in the family of how they were suffering. And I said, well, yeah, probably something. Y'all probably was a little rough on Black folk, but that was the conversation. But I have heard of other white folk that talk about suicide in the family and how the brother and the mother gets killed, the dad gets killed, everybody in the family die. And you have to understand, okay, what was that related to? Yes, we seen it happen, but they really don't get off. We may say, yes, we want to see them die. We want to see blah, blah, blah. But we have to understand that they go through. Trust me, they do. I've heard it. I see it. Okay, because I deal with folk I'm hearing it. Okay, and I'm like, well, yeah, you did something to Black people to be going through all of that. But we're looking at this a different way, and we're thinking, okay, he didn't drop dead. But guess what? He has lineage, and he said, and just like I do believe, and I've seen it, and we're hearing it, that their families go through. Don't think that they're gonna kill somebody. I've even seen it in a Black family, where a young man had came in and shot somebody, went to prison, got out of jail, and died 5 days later. I've seen that. So I do believe when he says, I visit the sins of the third and the fourth generation, I believe that because we see it all the time. So we may call it something else, okay, but it's still the same thing, okay? And you mentioned something about white folk. We don't serve the same God as them. Those are Satan's children. So they're going to be blessed by him regardless, okay? So we have to understand where their blessings are coming from. They're not serving the same God. They serve Caesar Borgia. That's totally different. That has nothing to do with Jesus and all that other stuff. That is totally something different. So we have to understand what's really going on. Their God is not our God. Yes, they may go to church or whatnot, okay, but they're still serving a different God that we're serving, and their God is protecting them. He's protecting his children, but like I told you, it's a high price to serve the devil. And people aren't even understanding, because you have witches that'll say, oh, I'm a good witch. No, you still cause the same curses, make her mad, you're going to still have the same effect. So it's not any, a good witch, bad witch, whatever, but I've heard that said too. So I understand what you're saying, but we still have to keep the focus as far as, does that really have anything to do? It's the mindset of Black people right now. And it's not always about religion, because Black folk, our heart is just, we are total different people than these white folk. These white folk, they'll call themselves Christians, and they believe in guns. They believe in killing. They believe in a whole lot of stuff that Black folk don't believe in. So we know right there we don't serve the same God. We don't. And a lot of what we're going through is because of the curse and is because of the sin. But we can sit here, we can put it 5 different ways of why things are happening to Black people. But we have to be honest. We see the change now. We see that this is winding down now. We see what's going on right now. We can look and tell that what we see is, we can see the Black folk rising even as we speak now. And I rest with that.
The consciousness of our people, it is definitely rising. When I was at work the other day, a sister came up to me and was talking to me about the Kendrick Lamar halftime program and all that. And she was pretty angry about the response that white folks gave. And she was telling me some other things that she had heard. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, well, you're getting ready. You're definitely waking up and you're getting ready, because when you come across this message, it's going to make sure that it sink in and take root. I believe what's going on in the environment that we deal with, that we live in, because the awakening of our people has to come. And it's going to come through what we understand called a shared experience. When they understand exactly who the enemy is and understand how the enemy has tricked them, how the enemy has so thoroughly reprogrammed them and made them to become like the enemy, then they're ready to reject that, do something different, and embrace being B1 all day long and ready and willing to take whatever action needs to be taken. It is time to come up, get your minds from out of the sky, and deal with what's here on the ground and keep it 100. Now, there is the reason that, going back to Norma X's question, the reason there is power in these religions is the same reason there's power in the dollar, because people believe in it. People believe in it. Now, like I said, I don't believe in generational curses. I don't believe that. I believe the problem is ignorance. And with a real education will solve that issue, period, point blank. And that is the thing that we have been denied since we put our feet on this land. Whenever we come under the authority-ship, or we allow them to dictate to us what it is that we're going to learn, what it is that we're going to do. See, because those who give you your education, they know exactly how far you can go with it. They know exactly how far you can do what with it, because they gave it to you. But when we start giving ourselves that proper education that we need, then we're limitless in what we can do and what we can't do. It's all open road. And also, some things that we hear on, whether it's Instagram or on social media, just because we hear it on social media don't make it the truth. Like, they got witches on YouTube, and you can go to their channel and look. And I go to their channel and I question them. Well, if you're a witch, let me see you do this. Let me see you do that. Ain't none of them can do it. One talking about, I'm casting spells. All right, well, let me see you cast a spell on somebody.
Okay, when you say cast a spell, okay, so you're looking for a change today. That's not how it goes. Let me just say, you said something about I don't believe, okay, when you see something in a person's family, and I'm sure some people in here, they've seen some things in their family that they see even today. You may see a learning disability. You may see a woman, a family where all the women are single. You may see a family where a woman has had 10 miscarriages. You may see a family where everybody in their family has heart issues, or everybody in their family has diabetes issues, or everybody in their family is different. Everybody, you've had 5 or 6 generations in the projects. You've had where different families are dealing with kidney disease. I'm just saying, it's not, and what you're looking for magic to happen like that. A lot of times it doesn't happen like that. What a curse is, they can put stuff on people as far as causing poverty to come to somebody, as far as causing a disease to come to somebody, a disease that nobody has heard of, and it's not been in anybody's family, or, you know, you'll hear somebody say, oh my, it's a rare, whatever. But we have to understand, we're not understanding. You're looking for, you know, you say, well, let me see you fly on a broom. That's not even the same as dealing with a curse. A curse sometimes is put on a family because of them worshiping and giving their souls over to the enemy. So you may not see it today. So when you see that in the family, where that person who has given their souls over are dealing with sickness throughout their lives, then you begin to see their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, because you have to understand where it came from. So you may not believe, don't mean it don't happen, because you may have some stuff in your family that you're not even putting two and two together, but you're seeing it in your family. Even, I'm sure people here, you've seen it to where even in your family, you can see where somebody has taken, all the women are single women and none of them have gotten married. That's a curse on that family. So you even seen where the men are dealing with, at the age 21, the dad died. At age 21, the son dies. At the age 21, you can see that in the family. Okay, what's that called? Yes, I've seen where Christians have prayed, for families, but then I've seen where they have turned around and walked in that same thing in the family, but they prayed on it. Okay, then was the door sealed? So even as far as what we're seeing here, even in the audience, and I'm sure they have had some things that happen in their family. Are we putting two and two together? A lot of people are not putting two and two together. So by you saying, oh, I don't believe in, I want to see you, and you telling the witch, well, I want to see you do whatever, like, let me see you fly around the room. That's not even the same thing. That's totally different. That's not even what we're talking about. What we're talking about is you going in the spirit realm and being able to cause a curse to come on somebody that eventually they die. Yes, I've seen that. I've heard people talk about that. So because you don't believe it, bro, don't mean it ain't happening. So that's your thinking that it don't happen, and it's okay. But I'm sure we've had people on here that have seen things happen to different ones and can say, oh man, now I can recognize that that's what it is. But I couldn't recognize it, or I didn't recognize it before, so I couldn't put two and two together. But it's happening, whether you believe it's happening or not. But I rest my mic.
And I think that goes to the point of what people believe. If you want to believe you're cursed, then you will be, because that's what you believe.
No, it's not. No.
Well, it really is. It really is, because when we stop and
you don't have to believe in something to see it happen. You don't have to believe in something to see it happen. If I'm not in somebody's family and somebody comes to me and say, "Man, Kathy, so and so, my grandma, back in the day, she had mental illness. Now my mom has mental illness, and now I'm seeing my sister with mental illness, and I see my sister's baby with mental illness." What do you call that, bro? What are you calling that?
I call it, if you got a mental illness, you have a mental illness.
Out of 5 generations?
You need to figure out why. What is it that's causing the issue? What is it? Maybe it's something in the DNA that's passed down. Maybe it's a shared experience that causes people to go AWOL or whatever. When
5 generations.
When you're living under racism, not for part of your life, but for all your life. And to be very, very, very honestly, how many Black people that live in America is 100% sane? I doubt none of us are 100%
let's not just look at the mental illness. Let's look at all of it. Let's look at the eating habits. Let's look at all of it. Let's look at how our children, for instance, I've known a family that the grandfather was in jail. You see the son in jail. You see the grandson in jail. Now you're seeing the other son. That's 5 generations of being men being in jail. So what do you call that? It's different generational curses.
I call that where there's no knowledge there, right? There's no knowledge there. The environment that you got. So if you got one being a criminal, somebody else being a criminal, somebody else being a criminal, because the environment that you put them in.
Okay, no, it's not always the environment, because if you have a grandson that got out of that environment, but they're in college now, They're doing something totally different with their life. They're not even with the same people. You're not even hanging out with the same people, but will have an experience that will cause them to become, the same thing. He can be living his life, his best life, okay, in another country, in another world or whatever. But you'll see the same results happen to that little baby because of some understanding, because of generational. But just because, like I said, just because you don't believe it don't mean it ain't happening. Then it is what it is.
And see, this is because the power of the mind, it is so powerful. And if you take on that, oh yeah, I believe it's a generational curse. I believe it. And no matter what it is that you see, or you're saying this and that, when at the end of the day, it all comes down to what kind of knowledge that we have here. What is it that we have up here? Why are we not using it in the best productive manner? See, because when you can give it off and say, oh, it's because it's a curse, we've been cursed, you're giving excuses, right? It's like learned helplessness. And that's not what we should be about. We have to teach our people and understand that you have the power to change your circumstances. If you want it to change, you can make it change. Ain't no such.
Okay, you can make a change, but you have to tell them how. Everybody wants to make a change,
and I can't do that. No,
but everybody wants to make a change, but it's not happening. How come? It's not happening, and it's a reason why it's not happening. If you want me to make a change, you have to tell me how to make that change. You can't just say, well, you have to make a change. Okay, well, how do I make that change? If I'm seeing this in my family, and I know that my grandfather, it started in grandpapa. Okay, well, I saw that with him. How do I break that? How do I stop that? How do I not walk in that? You have to tell them how not to do it.
Let me give you a good example, right? Because it's something in my own family, and it's not no generational curse, but this is the reality of what it was. My grandfather used to beat the women he dealt with. So my grandmother, then once my grandmother went away, the next lady, that's who he was. My dad grew up seeing that, and he became a woman beater.
Okay.
He became a male chauvinist. I remember one day with my dad, and we just ride down the street, and he just out of nowhere, he said, I like to take strong black women and break them. And I was like, oh, wow. I was a little boy. And my thinking was like, well, why would you want to do that? Not understanding what he's trying to teach me. And so it's like we could be driving and a song come on, and it's a woman artist. And I may start singing the song. Don't sing that song. You can't sing that song because that's a woman singing it. You don't sing that song, right? So these are the little things that, my dad dropping on me here and there. But growing up and being and I've never seen my dad beat my mom, because when I was born, they weren't together any longer. But I saw my stepdad beat my mom. So I'm seeing my father throw a woman out the damn, the glass that you step onto the patio. I'm sitting there as a boy watching cartoons, and next thing you know, they come in the living room arguing. Next thing you know, he throws her through the damn glass out the door. And I'm like, oh.
How did that behavior affect you, though?
It scared the shit out of me.
How does that affect you now, even till today?
Well, even till today, let me finish. I'm getting to all of that. And so seeing my dad be that kind of way, seeing my dad rule over women, and, we were, another case, driving, but it was me, him, and his girlfriend, we in her car, and we're going down south. And she says, Bill, can I buy this dress? Not with his money, with her own money. And he's like, no. And she said again, but Bill, I really want to get this dress. And he said, I told you no. And if you ask me one more time, that's going to be no to that question that you asked. So she shut up. Now I'm a little boy and I'm watching this and I'm like, damn, you got that kind of power that you can stop her from buying her own dress with her own money while we driving in her car? And then to see with my mom being in a situation where my stepdad was beating her up, almost threw her out the second floor window, and going back, seeing them arguing back and forth, blah, 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 blah. So my commitment was, ain't no arguing in my house. We not doing all that because it don't make sense to me. I'm not putting my hand on you. You don't put your hand on me. You don't raise your voice to me. I ain't going to raise my voice to you. I start all relationship with, that's where I need to be at. Because the violence in the home, I don't do. I don't do. Now, my sister, who grew up and seeing the same shit I saw, she will argue and she will fight. And one day we're at her house, I'm over her house, her and her husband arguing, and me and my nephew, her son, their son, sitting there watching TV. And they come in the living room. Blah, 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 blah. My nephew gets up and stands in between them and trying to push them apart, and he starts to cry. Now I'm seeing this. Now I'm standing up. Now I'm angry, and I'm going off, fussing at both of them, but I'm crying now. And I'm a grown-ass man. Now I'm crying. And they're looking at me like, what the fuck you crying for? And I said, look, because this is the shit that from a child seeing, now I ain't had to deal with this on my personal life, but being here watching y'all and then watching how it's dealing with this child is bring up in me those same feelings that I had as a child. Now they're here and we're going to deal with it. Y'all going to stop this shit or I'm going to whoop both y'all asses because I ain't playing this shit no more. And then, everything stopped, and next thing you know, people start talking to one another. Now, I don't have a history of beating on women because that's not who I am. I made sure everybody understood that. Now, you want to raise your voice? I'll prompt you about 3 to 4 times. Check your tone, lower your voice, check your tone. Are you bringing me male energy? Lower your voice. After all of that, and you ain't calmed it down, lowered your voice, now I'm raising my voice. Now, once my voice started to get raised, then things start to simmer the fuck down. But it should be simmered down even before. That's when you give a prompt. But sometimes, dealing with women, they don't receive the prompt. And they want to say what they say. Well, you're going to get now I got to raise my voice because you're being rebellious. So now I got to raise my voice to let you understand I mean what I say. Change your tone, and we can talk about anything that you have to say. Just change the tone. You respect me, and I'm going to respect you, and we'll come out with a good solution, but we ain't going to get there with you hollering. No, and that's not a curse. That's just people doing shit the wrong way when there's an option to do things in the best manner. But because you're a woman, you think it's my right to yell. No, it really not. You can choose not to yell. I can choose not to raise my voice. It's choices that we make. With the enough intelligence that we have, we should be able to make the best of choices. That's why, we're taught rise above emotion into the thinking of God. Because when you're in those emotions, it's terrible. It's terrible. So we got to be thinkers. And that will kill a lot of the bullshit that goes on in our communities. Because they're done off of emotion. They're not done because we really sat down and thought about what the hell are we doing? Until it's too late. Then, oh shit, yeah, you're going to jail now. The shit is too late. We have to be thinkers because every problem, every question, there's an answer to. But if we don't think, we'll never get there. And there's people that have told me, see, this is why I don't like you, because you got an answer for everything. Duh, because there is an answer for everything. There really is. And I'm not afraid to think about it, to do the research, to look and see, to pull out what the answer answer is. There's not a such thing of a question that there's no answer to. No, it just don't work that way. So if we begin this process of, oh, we're just in generational curse, let me lay down and go ahead and take it, that doesn't work for us. It doesn't work, and we know it doesn't work because look at the product. Look at the product that is produced, and that product is not a good product. We got to come out of the foolishness.
But even with that being said, we have a lot of Black folk that will walk in ignorance anyway, knowing that they see stuff in their families. And because they believe the way they believe, they'll still insist on it not being a generational anything. And that's okay, because you can continue watching that stuff flow in your family and continue thinking, oh, it's this, that, and the other. And because without you addressing it, it'll never cease. Without you addressing it, it'll stay and it'll grow bigger. But without you addressing it and being honest about it, it continues in the bloodline. But my thing is, until you want freedom, real true freedom, you're never going to get it, because you're going to continue ignoring stuff that's in your family and saying, oh, it's this, that, and the other. But no, it's not. It's you not understanding and not putting two and two together, and you just believing it's something else. But until you are ready to realize and understand what it really is, it'll continue to flow in your family.
And that's why I said it is through education that all of these ills are dealt with.
But people are not ready for that education. Just like we having an education, or we having a talk now. Then you got people, well, this is this. Okay, if you're not here to listen, then why are you here? We all trying to learn something. We're all trying to teach and learn something. But if we want to stay, and sometimes y'all will expose us, or the universe, whatever you call them, will expose you to some stuff, trying to take you to another level, and we're so stuck in being in one spot, we won't accept it. So guess what? He's not going to make you learn it. You're just going to keep walking in ignorance and walking in whatever it is you want to walk in forever, because he's not going to force you to accept. You could tell Christians or some people, oh, hey, you're the chosen. And then they're so stuck on being something else that the enemy told them they were, or something white folk told them they were. They're so busy being stuck in that area that they don't even want to know that they're greatness. They don't even want to understand that they've been built on greatness. They don't even want to understand that this is who you are. They want to stay stuck on what something white folk taught them. So, it's all in your belief, like you said. Alternative point. Wait a minute, hold on. I don't like that. You know what? Let me just get that one. Let me just address that. I don't care about what your personal opinion is. Okay. I care about me. I don't care if you believe in what you believe in, but I'm not trying to force my belief on anybody. Just like you're not going to force your belief on me. If I choose to understand what you're saying and do my own research, because you said something does not mean that I'm going to believe it. I believe in doing my own research so that I can understand where you're coming from. I would never tell somebody, oh, what you believe in is shit. I don't care what you believe in. It's not about you. My belief is about Cassie, just like your belief is about you, and that's okay. You can have your belief. I have nothing to do with that. So by you saying that means that you want me to believe what you want me to believe. I'm not a puppet, sweetheart. Cassie is a leader, and you have to understand that. I have never been a follower. I am not one of them people that's going to sit up there and because you say something, I'm going to flat out believe it. No, sweetheart. I do my investigation. I do my research, and I walk in that. And I will not ever. I don't want you to believe what I want to believe. I don't want you to believe what you believe. I don't want you to believe what I believe. Okay. You believe what you believe. That's your freedom. But for you to sit up there and say, I don't want alternative points of views, that is not true at all. Then you don't know Cassie. You've been on this show long enough to know me, and you don't. And you can come up here and voice your opinion if you want to, because I don't have anything against you. And because you said that, I still don't have anything against you, because I'm going to be Cassie. And if you want, you're just mad because I don't believe the way you believe. And I'm not going to believe the way you believe. That's your belief, and you're entitled to it. So if you want to come up here and have something to say, come on up here, be a woman and say what you got to say. Did the same, was here, and all the people here give a piece, and she attacking me again. That's some personal stuff. That's your stuff. That's not my stuff. That's not my stuff, Maya. That's your stuff. Sweetheart, you got to deal with that. I have nothing against you. And for you to say that, that's some hurt. That has nothing to do with Cassie. That's not my stuff. That's yours, sweetheart. I have nothing against you. And for you to say that, that is your hurt. You need to get over that hurt. So go ahead on with what you got to say. Because I'm not here. I don't care. You know, look, what you believe is what you believe. If you understand it about Cassie, then that's who I am. And it's not going to change. I am not a follower. And for you to say that, you need to deal with some hurt. So go ahead.
All right. And so thinking of the videos that you have sent me, a lot of them, I believe all of them, were African people from the continent talking about their experiences. And so my question to you, how, because I looked at it and didn't change my viewpoint, but how are their experiences reflected on you? How did
their experiences not reflected on me? Okay. You have to understand, a lot of those two people have been dealing in stuff for a long time at a rate to where African American people don't understand. When they come here, they talk about a lot of stuff that we know nothing about. So it's so totally different than what we believe and what they believe because of where they are and their upbringing and their belief system and how their moms and grandmas and great-great-grandmas have done stuff. So they understand the spirit realm more so than African American people do, because we were taught by white people, okay? Our religion was taught by white people, so we don't really understand it. They are at a different level as far as their belief system than we are. So by me understanding what they're saying, I've seen, and what attracted me was something that I was dealing with as far as my dad, right? So that's how I became to understand, and that's how I became to do the investigation as far as my own life. I began to see stuff in my family that I wanted more understanding about, because I've seen it not just with one generation, but I've seen it with several people. So as far as you saying it, it's all about education to understand, what do I do about this? I'm looking at this, I see this, what do I do about it? Especially if I see it continuously keep popping up, then it's for me. Maybe I have been the one to be able to recognize it, to seal that door. So what has happened in my life, you probably have never experienced it. And some people on here probably have never experienced it. But if I experience something, I'm going to bring it to people. And if you understand it or not understand it, it's okay. And maybe this is something that you need to be aware of, because eventually you're going to begin to put two and two together down the line. Maybe not today. And you doing that research, it may not even affect you now, but it may be something that may come up in your life, or you may see and say, man, that's probably what that is. And this is what the show is all about. It's about us exposing different things so that people can understand. And it may not even be something you're experiencing now, because I've been experiencing that, and I begin to give attention to it to understand why was it there and what am I to do about it, so that I can shut that door in my life. So whether other people have experienced it, maybe not, but I seen that it was something that I was experiencing. So I wanted to make sure that I was dealing with it the right way.
How do you relate those situations, or do you even think about, well, if you can, put spells on these other Black people, but yet you can't do that to the people, to the enemy who caused you to be in this negative situation that you're in? You don't, it doesn't work on you.
Did the enemy really cause you to be in this situation that you're really in? Did the enemy really cause that? If you're going from the foundation and you're understanding Black people and you're understanding where it all started, then that'll help you. It's not always, sometimes it's us. Sometimes it happened with us by us saying certain things and doing certain things and not really understanding. And we want to blame the enemy for this, that, and the other, but was it something that we did? Was it something that we have to, is it something that we need to look at and pay some attention to? Because we can blame, people going to blame other people for whatever's happening in their life that's negative. We don't want to ever say, well, you know what, this is happening because I did, or this is happening because my dad did, or this is happening because my mom did. Because back in the day, we all called Big Mama bipolar, right? Big Mama, one day she'd be in a bad mood, the next day she was in a good mood, the next day she's in a bad mood. We always just said, oh, Big Mama was dealing with something. Big Mama, Big Mama crazy, Big Mama blah blah. But we have to understand, Big Mama had a personality defect because of something either passed down in the generation, in the DNA. And I do believe that sometimes things are of slavery stuff. Some of that stuff is passed down in generation, and we have to deal with some of this stuff. And we don't want to deal with it. We want to blame other people. Well, man, white folk did. Yeah, racism has us dealing with a lot of stuff, but also we have to begin to say, okay, Big Mama, I see that this is what's going on. We need to deal with that. And then we begin to help Big Mama to deal with it. We begin to help her with her personality and attitude. And sometimes they don't even recognize when they're having that bipolar experience. That's the time you be like, Big Mama, that's what we were talking about. Big Mama, see how when you cussing folk out, last Sunday you cuss folk out, this Sunday you nice. This Sunday you nice. You have to begin to point that stuff out. And some people are still, may not be, they may, Big Mama say, ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm good. But everybody in the family see that there's something wrong. So we have to begin to be honest about some stuff. And it's not always about what somebody else did. Somebody was allowed to do that because of something that happened back in the background, way back in the day before we even understand. And we're walking that thing out. 3 or 4 generations down, we're still walking it out and we're still understanding it. But where did it come from? Did it really come from the white folk? It came from our behavior as far as the beginning of time that we don't even understand.
So what did we do as a people to be brought over here to America and done the way we done, and for the Akibalan to be colonized the way that it is? What was the crime that we done to deserve what we have got?
Are we ready to go way back? You got to go way back and understand.
I mean, I'm asking because you said we can't blame it on the enemy. So the obvious next question would be, then what did we do that got us in this situation that we are in right now? What wrong?
Let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back. One statement that we said, let this curse fall on our children's children's children. That's what we said because we didn't understand who we were. We didn't understand. We're going all the way back. Let's go all the way back. We're going all the way back to several generations way back when this is what we said. And people have to understand where it came from. People have to understand that a lot of times what you're suffering with is not even something that you did. It's something that your ancestors did. And you know how our ancestors used to be doing a whole lot of witchcraft back in the day. You have to understand that. So when you're doing that, you've opened up so many doors. And like I said, doors you've opened up that you don't even understand that are open up against you. So now we're looking at something that's being done on us that we're walking out because of sin, because of curses, because of something way back that was even said because of what we did. But people don't understand that. We have to, I don't even know how to get to, I'm trying to put it to where you understand it. Okay, a statement back in the day that was made from our understanding that was made that said, okay, let this curse fall on our children's children for a third and our children's children, right? So
where are you? This is what I'm trying to understand. Where are you getting that from? Who said that? I don't know nothing about. That's why I'm asking you. Where are you getting it from?
Well, I believe in the Bible. A lot of y'all do not, but I believe that Black folk wrote the Bible. I believe that, and I understand that a lot of times it was tampered with. But I'm still not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's not what I'm going to do. But I am going to understand that where it all started was us in the beginning.
So So in the beginning, and we're talking about, before Jesus' time, right? That's what
we're talking about when he was, when people say when he was hung on the tree, do you believe that he was hung on the tree?
Yeah, I believe he was hung on the tree.
That's what we're talking about. We're going back then, and I'm going to pull it up. Give me a few minutes. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. You want to say, welcome, Sheila Neal. Peace and blessings. We are glad that you are here. Our topic today is Beyond Belief, the dangers of misguided spirituality. And so while Sister Cassie is getting her evidence, the reason why I'm
When he
asking,
talks about it, you can go into Matthew 27, 20, 27, 25. All the people answered his blood to be on us and on our children's children. Now that's hold on, let me pull it out. Matthew 25, 25.
25, or 27, 25.
Okay, they said, and the people yelled back because of them, hanging Jesus on a tree or whatever, Yahshua, or whatever you call him. We will take responsibility for his death and our children's children. So we have to understand, people don't understand who really crucified Yahshua. People don't understand that. And you got to go all the way back. If this is something, if you don't believe this, and this is, it's okay. But we have to begin to understand where it came from. And even reading Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, you guys can read Deuteronomy, tells you, okay, this is what you do. This is the curses you get. This is the blessings you get. But if you don't, this is the curses you get. It's all connected. So we have to understand where it all started. It all started with us. We bought stuff. And then even with the book of Jeremiah talks about when he was warning Israel, okay, who was us. He said, this is what's going to happen. We got to get it together. The whole book of Isaiah talks about this. The whole book tells you, okay, if you don't do this, this is what you're supposed to be. You're doing this. You ain't supposed to be doing this. We were serving all kind of gods, just like we're doing now. We're serving all kind of gods. Even now, we're still doing the same stuff. You had, even in Black Wall Street, they was going into the Masons. They was beginning to serve other gods then. And then Jeremiah was trying to tell you, hey, you guys, this is what's going down. We've been warned. This is what we're not supposed to be doing. This is what we're doing now. So this is where it all starts. And I know a lot of people say, oh, this is, okay, that's when it was, okay, you look at the Bible. I look at the biblical way. But then it's said in other places, which still means the same. We're still walking things out from our ancestors. Even now, we're still walking out stuff disobedient wise, because we're walking out stuff that we're not even supposed to be doing even now. We're doing, he said, even in one story, it talks about how do I cause Israel to sin? He said, okay, you introduce them. I can't curse somebody who's already blessed, but you can introduce them to sin and they'll bring curses on themselves. It's just different things that we do as Black people from the lack of understanding and the lack of knowledge that we even do on ourselves. We bring stuff on ourselves. And he uses different people to cause that punishment. He can do it, or he'll use different people. I remember at one time he asked David sinned. He said, okay, who you want? You want me to give it to you? You want the people to do it? And he said, I want you to do it. So we have to look at it different ways. We have to understand this thing different ways.
So, and I'm reading 27, 25.
Go ahead.
Where in 27, 25 did God said, okay, I'm cursing you? Where does it say that?
He said, all the people answered, his blood be on us and on our children. That right there is telling you that you're not only you, but they said it's going to pass down into your bloodline.
Where, but
on my children's children, on our children's children. What does that mean to you?
My question is, God is not saying that I'm putting this curse on you for you and your children. God ain't said that.
They said, okay, let me pull up the whole thing. I didn't pull up the whole thing. Let me pull up the whole book. Okay, I just pulled it up. Hold on.
Okay.
I want the whole scripture. Okay. Even in the book, it talks about Judas. It talks about, the money, the temple. It talks about, hold on. Okay, then in 24 it said when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but instead an uproar starting, he took the water, washed his hands, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, all the people answered, his blood is on us and on our children. Then he released Barnabas, but he had Yeshua flogged and handed him over. But if you would read like 25, literally you have to go deeper as far as that. And you're looking at us as a people to understand what happened. What happened? You're looking for word. Sometimes it's not going to give you word for word. You have to understand how that scripture is written and what it really means and what it really understands.
The thing I'm saying is this. If God didn't say it, if he didn't say you cursed, if he didn't say I'm putting the blood of Jesus on you,
have you read Deuteronomy 20:28? Pull that whole book up. That whole book talks about that. Okay. Whole book is related to this scripture. The whole book of Deuteronomy 28.
Okay. So now what we're saying, because
we're saying is it's all connected. Deuteronomy 28, the whole book is still connected to the scripture.
Okay. So where is because we have to bear witness that God in Matthew 27 verse 25, God is not talking. People are talking. God didn't make no declarations or none of that.
Yes, he did. Read Deuteronomy 28. I told you, no. It's all connected.
Listen, hold on. I hear you.
It's all connected.
But this is where you gave us first. So before we go over there, I just want to make clear where we are. I just want to get us on the same page. Because where we are currently in Matthew, God is not doing the one that's talking.
Okay, then the proof is in the pudding in Deuteronomy 28. It's all, you can't just, you're trying to say, okay, we're going to look at the whole kit and caboodle. Look at the whole kit and caboodle. If they said this here, and then you're looking at what is happening, where did it start? Where did it start?
Well, you're saying it started here. Our problem started here.
It started biblically in the past. I said it started biblically in the past. And if you're reading not just Matthew, but also Deuteronomy, it's all connected. The whole book is connected. So I'm not just going to say it's one scripture. It's several scriptures that tells you that.
Well, before we can build, right? Because that's what we're building. We got to get some understanding. And so what I'm saying and trying to get you to acknowledge is that God is not the one that's speaking here, saying that you're put it on me and my children. God didn't say that. The people said that. The people
said it, but then what happened was in Deuteronomy, it happened.
Can you
read Deuteronomy 28?
Okay, but before we go there, because I'm about to go there, I want to get closure on here. So we are in agreement that God is not the one that said that. People said that. We're in agreement that that is not from God's mouth.
The people said it. The people said it. And then what we said,
God's mouth.
It's not from God's mouth, but the action of it is when you go to Deuteronomy. Okay. So they said it. And then the action showed up in Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy 28, verse what?
The whole book. Deuteronomy 28, the whole 1 to 15 tells you if you do this, this is what's going to happen.
So
but
show me and go tell me which verse.
Did you put it up?
Yeah, I got it up, and I'll share.
Okay, it's the whole book talks about that. It's the whole story.
But my question is, show me where in Deuteronomy 28 that connects to Matthew 27 verse 25. Show me where it is. Does it say that so I can go there?
Start in you can start with the book of it, Deuteronomy 28:15. It talks about that throughout the curses part of it. When it talks about However, I'm not going to read the whole book. I'm going to let y'all pull it up. 28, first to 28, Deuteronomy 28, verse to 15 talks about the blessings.
This we got to stop, Sister Cassie, because what you're saying is not correlating to Deuteronomy 28.
So do you see anything in Deuteronomy 28 that we're walking through now?
I don't see anything in Deuteronomy 28 that got anything to do with Matthew 27.
You don't see anything in Deuteronomy 28 that has anything to do with what we're walking in even today.
You said that.
I said yes. I said Deuteronomy. I said Matthew 27.
Okay. So
and Deuteronomy 28 is connected, right? Okay. Now, if we want to read the whole book, I can read the whole book for you because it's all connected. All of it's connected.
Unfortunately, unless I'm overlooking it, because I don't see anywhere in here where this talks about what happened in 27 verse 25.
So you don't see from 15 the curses of the Bible as far as what we're going to walk through in Deuteronomy 28.
15 says, however, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow his commands and decrees I'm giving you today, all the curses will come on you and overtake you. Okay, that's what 15 says.
And
that
it
has
says
nothing
you
to
will
do
be
with.
cursed. Go ahead and keep reading. You got to read the whole thing. The whole thing talks about what he's doing to our culture.
But you said this connects to 27, 25.
It does connect. And it does connect.
Which verse connects? Because
all of them, the whole 15 through 64 connects to us. What's happening and what we're walking and what we're walking in. Now, if you don't understand it or believe it, then that's up to you.
You're changing the
I'm
goal.
not changing nothing. No, I'm not.
Listen. You first started out with Matthew 27, 25.
Yes.
And I said to you on 27, 25 that this is not God talking. We
understand that part, but we also understand
let me finish.
Go ahead.
And then you said Deuteronomy 28 will back up 27, 25.
Right.
We look to Deuteronomy 28, and I don't see nothing in there that's backing up Matthew 27, verse 25. Nothing in there, even out of what you just read, I just read, nothing in that has to do with Matthew. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And we have to be real. If it doesn't, we just have to admit that it just doesn't. What
we gonna understand is if you're reading Deuteronomy 28, and if you don't see it, then that's up to you. But I see what it says, and it talks about the curses and what actually has happened to Black people. You have to read the first 15. No, the first 1 through 15 talks about the blessings, and 15 through 64 talks about the curses as far as what we're walking in right now.
So again,
read it. Read it.
Listen. This is what you're doing, right? Listen, this is what you're doing.
Go ahead. You're gonna tell me what I'm doing. Go ahead and tell me.
You're saying that go from 15 to the end. That's what we're walking in right now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what we started off with wasn't saying what we're walking in right now. You specifically said Matthew 27, 25
is what we're walking in now.
You said,
yes,
Matthew
I said
27, 25, go to Deuteronomy, and that will back it up. Nothing in Deuteronomy deals with 27, 25.
It all deals with that because you're still not understanding what we're walking in today. What are we walking in today? Okay. What are we walking in today? What are we walking in today?
It does not say.
What are we walking in today? You should be cursed in the city and cursed in the field. Your baskets and your kneading trough will be cursed. The fruits of your womb will be cursed, and the crops of your land, and the calves of your heads, and the lambs of your flock. You will be cursed when you come in and cursed when you go out. The Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hands to, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him. The Yahuwah will plague you with diseases until he has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. The Lord Yahuwah will strike you with wasting disease and fever and inflammation and scorching heat and drought with what's that, blout and mildew, which will plague you until you perish. The sky over your head will be brazen, and the ground beneath you iron. The Lord will turn the rain of your country into the dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. The Yahuwah will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven, and you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. Your carcass will be food for all the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. The Yahuwah will affect you with the boils of Egypt and with tumors, festering sores, and the itch from which you cannot be cured. I really don't want to read all of this, but if you guys want to continue reading it, you can. But go on down and read it. It's showing you where we are today. And if we don't understand it and we don't believe it, then that, I can't help you guys, because I'm going to believe what I believe and you're going to believe what you believe, because we all see him different in different areas. You can even go down to like the 60s and hold on, let me see. And all these curses will come on you. I'm in a 45. They will pursue you and overtake you, and until you are destroyed, because you did not obey Yahuwah your God and observe the commands and decrees he gave you. They will be signs and wonders to you and your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Yahuwah your God joyfully and gladly in the time of prosperity. Therefore, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and dire poverty, you will serve the enemies of Yahuwah. Send against you, he will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. Then it goes, will bring nations against you from far away, from the ends of the earth, like an eagle swooping down, and nation whose language you will not understand. Okay, let's go on down. Let's see. They will, I'm going to 52. They will lay siege to all the cities throughout your land until the high fortified walls will, which you will trust will fall down. They will besiege all the cities throughout the land, and the Yahuwah your God is giving you. Because of the suffering your enemy will inflict on you during the siege, you will eat the fruit of the womb and the flesh of the sons and daughters the Yahuwah your God has given you. Let's go down. I'm trying to hurry up here. Let's go down to let's see. What about 58? If you do not carefully follow all the words of this law, which is written in this book, and do not reverse this glorious and awesome name, the Yahuwah your God, the Lord Yahuwah will send fearfully plagues on you and your descendants, harsh and prolonged disease, and serve lingering illness. He will bring you and all your diseases to Egypt that you dread, and they will cling to you. Then he talked about the Lord will also bring on you every kind of sickness and disasters not recorded in this book of law, until you are destroyed. You who were as numerous as the stars in the sky will be left but few in number, because you did not obey Yahuwah your God. Just as it pleased the Yahuwah to make you prosperous and increase in numbers, so it will please him to ruin and destroy you. You will be uprooted from the land you are entering to possess. Then 64 talks about, then Yahuwah will scatter you among the nations from one end of the earth to the other. There you will worship other gods of wood and stone, which neither you nor your ancestors have known. Among those nations you will find no response to resting place for the soles of your feet. There Yahuwah will give you an anxious mind, eyes weary with longing, and a despairing heart. You will live in constant suspense, filled with dread, both night and day. never sure of your life. In the morning, you will say, if only it were evening, and in the evening, if only it were morning, because of the terror that will fill your hearts and the sights that your eyes will see. Yahuwah will send you back in ships to Egypt on the journey I said you should never make again. There you will offer yourselves for sale and to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. So that to me is a connection to, as far as that's where it came. That's to me. Now, what it is to you, I have no idea. But to me, that's where it all started, and it's connected. Even in Deuteronomy, it told you. It says there plain as day, and you. I don't know how else to say it. So if you don't understand it, and it is what it is.
All right, we are at our time. So we're going to go ahead and move to closing comments. Well, before we move to closing comments, Brother Isaiah, do you have anything you want to add before we go to closing comments?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had we had enough time to play that video because it played right into what we were talking about. But I would, I hate that. But I would encourage people to look for, the video where it said Macron's warning. I'm going to pull it up right now. Macron's warning: is the black biblical Israelite identity the key to breaking racial oppression? Very good one. I would highly recommend it. It's on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me put the Earl in. And then the other one you guys already know. Um, that's the Macron one. Then the other one dealing with Ibrahim. How you say Ibrahim Traore? Yeah. So I'm going to pull that one up and then just put it into the comments.
Estamos contratando personas que puedan trabajar desde casa en modalidad home office, con urgencia.
Ibrahim Traore breaks the silence. Why he says the world must serve.
Put that one in the comments, and then the last one. Then I'll make my my comment. So hold on. Okay. Okay, and then this one
lead to a reevaluation.
Ibrahim Traore declared, "We will serve the black biblical Israelite, a global reckoning." Very good. All the three of them speak volume as to what is going on today and what is going on now with the unification of Africa and Traore being the president of it all, and what that means on a political, economic, and geopolitical level that would just devastate. Because Europe is already broke, and it's going to what happened to Portugal by Angola and making them their slave. The Angolan making them their economic slave because they took over Portugal. Speak volumes, and that is exactly what's going to happen with Africa when all of those resources behind the currency. It'll drop all European countries to their knees, economically and politically speaking, because what happened with Angola, they took it over economically, and then they went in behind all of that money and started their own political juggernaut in making sure that any large pass is for them, and that's why the Angola elite is enjoying Portugal. So we're going to see that in short order by 2030. What is going on? So I wanted to add too about the letter that I wrote to President Trump, right? So even if was not an if, but when it happened, the earthquake along the New Madrid Fault, you got to remember California had one that did 50,000 square miles of damage. The New Madrid one did 1,000,000 square miles of damage. So we're talking about 200 times bigger. And I was just thinking last night too, that in the state of Washington, you got Mount, how you say it? Mount St. Helen, right?
Mount St.
Dude,
Helens.
man, yeah. If that blows, it's not a if, but when it blows, you're talking about 6 to 10 feet of ash that's going to be covering a great part of Seattle and Washington State down throughout California and all of those northeast. No, I'm sorry, northwest and north and southwest states, all the way over to Chicago. I mean, the more it becomes widespread or spread throughout, and then the lesser of the effect. But just imagine if that happens, one after the other, or all three at the same time. It's going to be devastating. So I want to say too that what Sister Kathy and I were talking about is we got to stay united. We are blessed people and we are cursed people. We are cursed when we are divided and we in this shithole as we are right now. And when we are united, we become kings and queens, literally, of the earth, the gods and gods of the earth, like our ancestors. And we got to remember that because it's so vital and it's so important. But I throw it back at it.
All right. Thank you, Big Bro. All right. So we appreciate everybody. I want to welcome Miss Life Lessons to the program. Peace and blessings. We are definitely glad to see you, Miss Life Lessons. Missed you. We're glad you're here. But it's time for us to go ahead and close out. We're going to go ahead, as I said, move to closing comments. Sister Cassie, your closing comment?
I was looking at somebody in the chat said something about 400 years. We have to understand the calendar that we are under now was not the original calendar. Even when it was 13 months, now it's 12 months. So a lot of stuff, yes, we know a lot of stuff in the Bible was changed and it was switched around. And, we understand that. We understand that. But we're just trying to, as far as prove a point, we're just trying to prove a point. And we're not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I don't care what y'all believe in. I really don't. It's not about me to make sure that you're believing this or you're believing that. You believe what you want to believe. I'm gonna believe what I want to believe. But I know that it's the 400 years. It's not even up yet because the calendar we're in the Gregorian calendar. We're supposed to be on another calendar, which is totally different because the U.S. has changed so much stuff. The Catholic Church has changed so much stuff. But we have to understand that we are still under the 400 years, and people don't understand that because of the calendar. And we're walking in some things right now that's showing you that times are changing, that things are churning back to where they were, because everybody in the Bible was black in the beginning. And yes, we got screwed to the four corners. It talks about that biblically. We were, in four corners. Every part of the earth, you have black people, and those are the two chosen people. So I rest my mic. It's nothing else to say. We gonna say I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that. I don't care what you believe in. I know what I believe in, and you can believe what you believe in, and we can all be together. I don't care. It's not about that. It's about us building. If you don't believe what I believe, it's okay. Don't stop me from building. It's all about building. Long as you're black first, we get into religion, we start, dividing. But that's what it's meant to do. That's why I don't believe in religion. I believe in relationship. Okay. Yes, I grew up in the church. It's just like so many of us here grew up in the church, and we get mad at church because we was taught wrong. Okay, we was taught wrong. Big deal. I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater because some parts I still believe. Okay. But I know that when it's time to build, it's not about forgiving for Cassie. It's about kicking some butt, and it's about taking names, and it's about us building our Black B1 communities. We can sit up here and you can say, well, I believe in this and I don't believe in this and I believe in this. Are you willing to build no matter what you believe in? I am willing to build. I don't care what you believe in. Seriously, I do care about you having that B1 mindset and us growing and building our communities. And as far as me, what I stand for, it's all about Black first. I don't care, about religion like that, because I know religion has divided and has killed many of people. So this conversation is over as far as I'm concerned, and I'm gonna still love my brothers like I always have. Maurice will always be my brother, and you too, Mayat, because I'm not mad at you. I don't care. You can believe what you want to believe, but it's about building. Let's go and let's build some things. Let's build our Black communities. Let's open up our Black schools. Let's buy a Black land and build our Black communities. And I rest my mic with that.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Sister Cassie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know, I'm going to my closing comments. Where is it? Okay, Norma X says, we must use these religions, spiritual systems, for liberation and the destruction of our enemy. That's the bottom line. And that is 1000% correct. We must use that for our liberation and the destruction of our enemy. We are in a definite time where we have to understand the knowledge that comes to us. We have to let go of some things that just doesn't work. We have to have our minds renewed and put in a way that will secure us as we continue this journey. Because one thing is for sure, we can't beg it away. We can't pray it away. We can't plead it away. It is something that we have to deal with in real reality, in real time. We're going to have to get our hands dirty. And that's a good thing. You know, that is a real good thing because you got to know what's real and what's not. Use your belief system for the good of our people. We have to free the minds. You have to understand, why would the enemy have something called a slave Bible? Why would the enemy have a slave Bible that he would give to the slave? It's for a certain type of conditioning. For a certain type of conditioning. And you have to be aware of that. You have to understand that. Because the enemy don't want you to be free. The enemy don't want you thinking on the level that free people think on. They want to use all the chains and the machinations to keep you saddled down so that they can ride your back. But they can't ride your back if you're standing up. And we have to stand up with authority and power and never be afraid to embrace who we are and the God that we serve, because we are his lineage, we are his direct line, and our God loves you. Our God loves you, and we love you. But as we always say, I want to thank everybody.
Hold on. I didn't say my part yet.
All right, hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay. I want to thank our chat for being present, being here, and you know, you could have went fishing, but I'm glad you didn't go fishing. I'm glad that you're here because it is all in love. And I thank you all for everything that you do. I thank you all for participating, for liking the program, sharing the program, pushing the program out there, because this is what we got to do. This is another level of war. And we are at war 24/7. And we got other programs that's coming as well. So go ahead, Brother Isaiah. What you got to say?
My last comment is the video that I want. It's a little bit over a minute long. So if you can go to your WhatsApp, it'll be the last one. Now you gotta hold your stomach, everybody, because I am revealing who these people are,
Lord,
what these people are. So I'll let the video speak for itself.
All right, so let's see what's that. All right, so let me share.
know I don't wipe my ass and it stinks when I walk past you in public, but there is no reason for you guys to be making this face when I walk by. I see you doing that, and it makes me feel like shit. So not only am I smelling like shit, I'm now feeling like shit because you don't know how to control your face. And everybody's always talking about how disgusting it is that I don't wipe. But you know what? If the Lord wanted me to wipe my ass, he would have built in toilet paper into my body. And he didn't. The smell of doo-doo is actually supposed to be a pheromone to attract mates. But we've gotten so used, as a society, we have decided to give into capitalism. We buy this toilet paper, we wipe away our pheromones, and that's why a lot of you have a hard time reproducing, because that actually is supposed to help with your fertility. Do you know all the toxic chemicals that are inside of toilet paper? And then think, that toilet paper dissolves in the sewer system. So when you wipe, it's dissolving slowly in your butt crack, and it's getting into your bloodstream.
Man, I fell out, dude, man. I fell the fuck out. These motherfuckers, she ain't the last one and she ain't the first one. Millions of these motherfuckers are like that. And if they can have sex with themselves, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people deep, shitting and pissing on themselves, eating and drinking it and vomiting it back up, now you know I ain't lying about these motherfuckers.
And
they ain't
these
shit.
are the women that
I'll rest my case on that motherfucker. And you know what I'm gonna say? Fuck all white folks. If that don't convince you that white folks ain't shit, I don't know what the fuck else I'm gonna say outside of them. You know, let me say this. That they just found out that Jack the Ripper was an Ashkenazi Jew, and those Jews have Tay-Sachs, which is come from inbreeding or whatever the case is. These motherfuckers are crazy, man. I rest my motherfucking mic, nigga. Peace, love, I love y'all, man. And as we always say, you kill a nigga and you and I'll kill a nigga and me and our God will reign supreme. We are Black First. Today, tomorrow, and forever. And always remember, for the next 24/7, 365, baby, stay black.
Peace, family.
Peace. Love y'all.
So you better get the message and get it straight. You're gonna need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.